everyone. Those of you that watch my Facebook lives, my Granted by the Government, will know this is what happens the second I sit on the chair and do the double handshake. So I will get the creature down in a bit. This is Dodge, my adolescent beautiful shepherd, who is lucky he's pretty a lot of the time, aren't you, baby? Yes, good boy. So yeah, slightly terrified about this. I'm used to, when I'm talking about hoopers, having big presentations and videos and all that stuff, but today it's just me chatting to you. I'm gonna pull up on my phone, so hopefully, let me make sure the volume's down. Hopefully I can see the comments and questions coming up while I'm doing the live. That's my plan. Dodge had to get involved. I think he's disappeared, but he is likely to come back, and Tiny Dog may get involved at some point. Oh, if anyone's just, yesterday decided to dye my hair. It's not really going to plan. Pinkness will resume soon. Do not knock that camera. Dude, oi, do not knock the camera. That's not a thing today. He's like, oh, but I can normally. I think he's a bit confused as well, because obviously normally he gets to do what he wants on a Facebook Live, and today he needs to mind his manners a little bit, because we are live on Facebook, actually at a conference doing a proper thing rather than me just waffling on normally. So I suppose I should introduce myself for those that don't know me. Also, why is my camera back to front? Like, you can tell what it says, you can read backwards, it's fine. So I am Carrie-Anne Selwyn. I am the founder of Canine Hoopers World, and Hoopers World was set up as an educational provider for trainers that wanted to learn how to teach hoopers and kind of bring hoopers to the world. My main focus was the pet dog industry, but what started off as a little master plan of let's teach people how to teach hoopers safely and confidently has now turned into an international thing, and we've now got over 300 trainers in, I think it's like 15 countries or something, which is mental and very exciting. So that's why I was happy when Ruby said come and talk, because it gets more people to know what Hoopers is and understand what's going on and all that stuff. So a little bit about me, where I started from. Originally back in the days, I actually work with horses. I come from a horse riding background, taught small children how not to die on ponies. Anyone that's worked at a riding school knows that's the best description of being a riding instructor, is children not dying in your care. Then went on to doing cattery work, and I was also working at a yard. There was a yard and a cattery on the same site, so I worked both. And one day, one of the women on the yard said, I'm starting up a dog training business. I want you to come and train. I had no qualifications at this point, but she took me on, said, right, come be a dog trainer. We had a falling out over methods, and I set up my own business when I moved to Surrey. It's coming up 9 years now. 10 years? I don't know. It seems like forever ago. Munch was a puppy, so it's got to be 10 really. And that's kind of where I sort of started. So my little group, my set of dogs at home, I've got Munchkin, who's a Staff Lab Rescue. I've got the 2 Chihuahuas, Minx and Chica. And then I have the feral creature that you met a moment ago. The creature, I love him, he's great. Now, I tried so many different sports when the girls were younger, and Munchkin, my staffy girl, will try anything, do anything. She's wicked. Chica tried her paw at everything, including a bit of bite work. And the talk last night about bite work, I really, really appreciate, because it does have really negative connotations, and it shouldn't. But unfortunately it does, and there are some brutal training refugees. but there are positive people out there. So thank you for that talk last night. Loved it. That was brilliant. Digressing, I'm really sorry. I'm going to warn everybody now. So I try and stay on topic, but it's a bit like a tree, and the branches will go off, and then I end up back at the trunk, and then a branch will go off again. So I'm really sorry that when I don't have a script in front of me, it tends to go a little bit squiffy. Dodge, do not touch that camera. Come and lay down, please, here. Come. Just. Good boy. Thank you. Oh, he's a good boy. And now he's going to sit there looking at his winky, but at least she's off camera so you can't see it. So with the girls, Munch tried a bit of everything. Chica tried a bit of everything, did a lot of rally with them, trick stuff, things like that. And then I was kind of looking for a sport for Minx to try, and we sort of had a look at agility, but she didn't really like jumping, which kind of cancels that out, which also means fly ball's not really a thing. And also Chihuahua trying to get on a fly ball box and grab the ball and do a turn and run with the ball in their mouth. Yeah, it's not ideal. So about 4 years ago, kind of this sport came onto my radar called Hoopers, and it was birthed in America as part of NADAC, and it's a low impact sport that, the way I actually love to explain it, it's like playing croquet with your dog without the upside down flamingo. It's plastic hoops, there's barrels, there's tunnels, and then depending on if you're competing, what country you're in and what organisation you're under, there may also be gates and mats on the floor dogs have to run over. But everything is low impact. So friend of mine, Chantel, was putting on a workshop. I went along, and I actually took Munch to start with, and it was actually with the fabulous Lisa Jordan, who is now the faculty advisor at Hoopers World. So Lisa has become a very good friend over the last few years and has been amazing this year for all the insanity. So we went along with Munch, and Munch was going through the hoops around the barrels, was really cool. And then she saw a tunnel, and then she decided it was agility, and then she lost her shiz and got far too excited. And one thing for me that's really important is dogs are able to cope with the environment and what we're asking them. And the reason why Munch didn't do agility and ended up not really doing Hoopers is because she finds it too arousing. She starts redirecting, losing her shiz, and my arm becomes a bite toy, which is not a thing. So I was like, right, okay, really like this sport. It's going to be too much for Munch though. So my friend said, well, look, we're going to do a class next week. Bring Minx. Let's just see. Oh my God. So the tiny dog, Minx Chihuahua, you can follow her on Instagram, is my 4 kilo spoiled brat of a princess. And she's very opinionated. She's pretty much breedist. And she finds the world quite a stressful place. She kind of falls into that Chihuahua category of she's had some bad experiences. She finds other dogs quite stressful, brilliant with people, but the rest of the world can be quite a lot for her. So we took her to this Hoopers class, and she rocked it. She loved it. Second class, she was actually paired up with a beautiful little poodle called Florence, and she was cool. She could work with Florence. Florence was fine. And it got to the point through her kind of doing Hoopers that we have competed, we have been to shows. She was actually kind of having fun, and I could see her confidence growing. So those of you that are watching that have these tiny miniature dogs that do find the world quite stressful, this is a sport that you can do with those dogs, okay? Tiny dog has gone from being quite nervous around other dogs, not really convinced in new environments, to actually on instructor courses, if instructors are having trouble sort of learning new stuff, if their dog's not quite understanding, or if they haven't got a dog with them, Tiny Dog will literally train for anybody now. If you have Cheese, she will train. And it just shows me that doing this sport, the confidence it has instilled in her, I absolutely love, love, love. So when Dodge came into my life, he was not planned, the unplanned puppy. I knew straight away Hoopers was going to be the main focus. Hoopers World was already set up as an organisation, and it meant now I could train a large breed as well as a micro breed on Hoopers, which really excited me. And this is one of the things I love, because Dodge came to me at 17 weeks, and obviously he had a couple of weeks to decompress and chill out, but by, I think he was probably about 19 weeks old, he was doing hoops already. He was learning about barrels. It was all about proprioception for him as a puppy, and about sort of building his skills and understanding, and just as having fun and building teamwork together. And that's kind of what Hoopers really is for me. It's about dogs and handlers having fun, working as a team, and just enjoying themselves, really. So Hoopers, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just agility. It's not. It really isn't. Hoopers course is very different in that when you look at an agility course, and any agility trainers, handlers out there, please do not take offence, okay? I've never competed at agility. I have trained like pet agility for fun with my terrier and with Munch, but just wasn't for me. I didn't have the right dog for it. But when you look at an agility course, especially some of the big European courses, especially when you get sort of grade 6, 7 courses, you look at it and you find one, and then you're struggling to look for 2, and then 3's round the back, 4's the slice, 5's the weaves, then you've got to go round somewhere else for a tunnel, then there's a curve, then there's an A-frame, then there's this, then there's, oh my God, it makes my brain hurt. Like, I'm not good at directions, okay? Left and right is hard enough for me without having to then worry about which side of a jump I need to send my dog. Like, I would not do well at agility. Hoopers is about the flow, and the courses are always going to be flowing. So the way I make the comparison is that agility is like something like karate, and Hoopers is more your Tai Chi. It's all about the flow and smooth, and don't get me wrong, it can be fast, and some of the courses can be super fast, but some of them can be very technical. So it's about the dog and handler working together as a team. And with Tiny Dog, I handle her what we call agility style. I will run and move with her. But the main kind of emphasis with Hoopers is about building distance and confidence, and distance handling is kind of the goal for it. Now at Hoopers World, it's about people coming in, having fun and building confidence. But the more confidence you build in the team, the more distance they build anyway. You can see behind me, these are the Hoopers World Progress Awards for the novice level. There are 10 altogether. My guys are up to level 9. We're working towards 10 at the moment. But I'm working towards these with a Chihuahua and a German Shepherd, which shows how versatile the sport is. Also, Dodge is working towards this, 19 months, and we've hit level 9 already because we focus so much on our training and stuff. If I have people coming in that want to move with their dogs, they don't want distance handle, that's cool. If I have people that come in that want distance handle, then I can give them the skills they need to do that style of handling. And that's one of the other reasons why I love it as a sport so much, because it is so inclusive, it is so versatile, and it's just welcoming. And our tagline at Hoopers World is everyone's invited, because that is how I wanted it to be. As I say, we've got instructors from all over the world, and it's just lovely to see a sport that's bringing people together to work towards training dogs, to have fun, build teamwork and all that stuff. So I think some people kind of see it as an easy thing, but actually when you start progressing and kind of building the skills and the confidence in the dogs, it actually isn't easy, and it does need work, and it does take training. But from a trainer point of view, if you're a trainer and you're thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe we could teach Hoopers. One of the main things I love from a business point of view is the Hoopers equipment is a lot cheaper than a lot of other sports. if you said like agility, prime example, agility equipment is super expensive. But even if you look at sports like working trials, fly balls, stuff like that, the proper equipment is really pricey, and it kind of digs into your budget. Whereas with hoopers, you can set up the basic equipment relatively reasonably. The main expense is tunnels, and this is another massive difference between hoops and agility. So agility tunnels are normally 3 to 6 meters and they are 60 centimeters diameter. Hoopers tunnels are 1 to 3 meters and they are 80 centimeters diameter. The only dog I've had that did not go for a Hooper's tunnel was an Irish Wolfhound, and love her, she walked up to it, put her head in, and it kind of caught on her shoulder, sort of with her area bit, and she went, I don't fit. And I was like, that's cool, no problem. But we've had Newfoundlands doing it, St Bernards, Bull Mastiffs, right the way down to Chihuahuas. I've got a couple of gorgeous miniature Dachshunds that come to my classes, and I'm missing all my training classes so much. I can see Ali's watching, so give those cheeky Dachshunds some love from me, Ali, because I'm missing you guys so much. But there's sports that Dachshunds wouldn't be able to do. There are sports that Wolfhounds wouldn't be able to do. So to have this activity that is so inclusive is kind of the reason why I became so passionate about hoopers, and why I fell in love with it as a sport, because it is growing, it is gaining traction. Obviously last year there were hardly any competitions for anything because of the Rona, but this year, should I say, it doesn't feel like the year started yet, does it? It's all just a blur of everything. But looking ahead, there's already camps being organised and shows with UK hoopers. And I'm kind of excited to go out there with the boy and see what he can do, because we didn't get to compete last year because of his age. So competition starts in the UK at, depending on the organisation, some have it a little bit lower, but it's normally around 18 months. The reason why it can be a little bit lower and safely be lower is because it is low impact. So the hoops are literally an archway. It's like a giant croquet hoop, and the dogs go through. One thing that's not permitted in Hoopers World and most other organisations is a hoop wrap. So in agility, you see the dogs go past the jump and then back in, so they would wing wrap. In Hoopers, that's not allowed, okay? Hoop wraps are not a thing, so that helps with the safety and keeping the impact low. Barrels, a dog can only ever go so tight around a barrel, okay? I think they are, I'm going to say 23 inches diameter to 27. But pop-up laundry baskets are cool for practicing at home. We use a lot of the garden bins, pop-up garden bins work. Your big old style round dustbins work well. Pardon me, got a hiccup. So you can kind of practice bits at home relatively easy. You don't need loads of room and space. But if you do have space, you can set up courses that are huge and you just watch the dogs run. I did put a little video in the group earlier this morning, so any of you that haven't seen Hoopers can kind of get an idea of what it's like. I personally, with Tiny Dog, as I said, I run. With the boy, I distance handle. We call it core handling, because you're directing the dog with your core. Agility, you're side on, and your arm is drawing the line of where the dog needs to go. With the core handling, you're actually facing the dog and you guide the nose, which I know is a slightly weird concept to some people, but it works. And actually, it's really awesome being able to stand in the middle of a course and just watch your dog go around and just make sure you give them the verbal cues you need at the right times. Tunnel entry, it's always straight. The reason it's always straight is because when Hoopers tunnels first came over to the UK, a lot of people have been using agility tunnels. We don't allow curves in the tunnels. In Hoopers, the tunnels are always straight. Most of the times are 1 to 2 meters, so you can't curve them anyway. But the reason for having a straight entry into the tunnel, dogs that have come over from agility are going to be used to potentially banking in the tunnel to get a curve in. They come in from all sorts of funny angles, so they learn to use the sides of the tunnels to kind of grip and get speed on. The reason why Hooper's tunnels were kept straight and the entry was kept straight in particular was we wanted to make sure that the dogs were able to just run through them and they weren't going to try and use the sides to bank on. If dogs have taught themselves to bank on a 60 centimetre tunnel and you then put them in a bigger tunnel, potentially they're going to get it wrong. They could fall, they could hurt themselves. So it's a safety aspect. So I've seen a few kind of Hooper's agility courses being put out recently where people have added weaves and contacts into them. That is not Hooper's. That is an amalgamation of the two sports. Hooper's is hoops, tunnels, barrels, and then, as I said, gates, which are like a big rectangle the dogs run past, and then in some organisations, mat, which is called a touch and go mat or a tango mat, and the dogs run over the mat. They've got a pole on each corner and the dogs have to run over the mat. So it does act like a contact without having the impact of the dog going up and over something. It's just straight line running. So Hoopers is all about that flow and the dog's understanding. And once the dogs get the game and they understand they're driving forwards, there's been a few competition courses out there that are like a spiral, and they're great because you tell the dog go and they literally just keep going and going and going until they've hit the end, because they're looking for the next obstacle in front of them. They're looking for that hoop. They're looking for the barrel. Tunnels are, any of you that do agility will know that tunnels are the best things in the world, and putting in a tunnel trap makes the course a lot trickier for some dogs. But it's just about everyone having fun together. And I love that any breed, and I know I'm repeating myself, but any single breed can have a go at Hoopers. It doesn't matter whether they are short or tall or long or whatever. They can all have a go. And I love watching the teams progress. I love watching everyone having fun together and just people enjoying themselves, really. Right, I'm going to have a quick look because I can see, oh my God, there's loads of messages. What is going on? Lots of hellos and mornings. So hellos and mornings. Just got my hoops yesterday. Amy, cool. Love it, love, love, love it. Someone said I keep freezing. Sorry if I keep freezing. I'm trying. Love to try Hoopers. Right, Sean Murphy. Okay, Pad is your bowable, I believe. I hope so. I know he's massive. He will fit through the hoops. I promise you, he will fit. And he will love it. And actually, for the big breeds, the large breeds, I think it helps a bit with their body awareness because they are actually targeting going through and round stuff rather than just being in the world. I know with Dodge, it's really helped with him realising where his body is and where limbs are attached in correct places and stuff. Right, even done Hoopers with one of my loopings, but we love it. Oh my God, Gemma, I need pictures of that. I love that. And I know Vicky Chalk has a wolf dog mix, and Hira is starting to play hoops as well. So literally any breed can have a go, guys, which makes me so excited about it. Love more information about competing. Amy messaged me. I will, when it comes to teaching Hoopers and learning about Hoopers, Canine Hoopers World is kind of the hub of where you can get loads of information from. In our Facebook group, we have units that get people started. There's also a whole section about warm up and cool down, which I'm going to get to a little bit in a minute. I know that was something that was brought up last night in the talk about bite sports, about how not everyone warms up their dogs, which no. But Hoopers World is a education provider. We are there to teach people how to do hoops and have fun, We don't actually run competitions, but we do have our progress awards, which was a way for people to see their achievements and mark their achievements without having to go into that competition environment, because I'm very aware that not all dogs are suitable to go to a competition. Tiny Dog does find competitions quite stressful. We did our last one last year. We got 3 clear rounds. She's retired. She's not going to competition again. But she is still working through her progress awards, which is really nice. I can highly recommend UK Hoopers. If you're in the UK for competing, go and chat to Sarah Hamblin. Tell her I sent ya. Me and Sarah get on really well, and we're working together, guys. I know, right? All the dog trainers are like, what? You're working with another trainer? Yeah, so UK Hoopers and Canine Hoopers World are working together to bring more Hoopers sparkle to the world. So if you're thinking of competing, check out UK Hoopers. There are a few other organisations around locally to me. Kaluki were doing competitions as well, so that's where I took Tiny Dog end of last year. We're waiting to get to a UK Hoopers show, but they kept getting postponed, which was very, very annoying. I can also see some Chewies on board. So, hey guys, so Chewies are Canine Hoopers World instructors. I'm a geek, so I realised that it sounded like Chewie. I'm a little bit of a Star Wars fan, so we are all Chewies. That is where my group is. Sean, yes, you need to come and play Hoopers. Yeah, and Jasmine, trainers working together. I know, it happens. I mean, this conference shows that we can all work together. Because Ruby managed to pull this out of her backside in a week, which I'm not sure how she did. Well done, Ruby. Thank you for inviting me. So does anyone kind of have any questions about Hoopers? I don't even know what the time is. I've just been waffling for half an hour already. There we go. There's a surprise. Let's talk a little bit about the different handling styles, because I know that distance handling, it does look hard and it puts people off. When I first started doing Hoopers and there was so much pressure on distance handling, I was like, I don't want to do distance handling. Tiny Dog, distance handling for Tiny Dog is 3 meters away from me, which is kind of relative, because when you're only about 12 inches long, or 30 centimeters long, 3 meters is quite a distance away from you. But getting the creature, this shepherd, he is fast asleep by my feet right now, by the way, which is really cool. He's like, oh God, she's waffling, I can't wait to stop misbehaving. Oh, it's stretching, it might wake up again in a minute. I'll bring him back on camera before the end, don't worry. But with Dodge, because of his breeding, he is in the pastoral group. People always think German Shepherds as your police dogs, working dogs, security dogs, and don't get me wrong, they are more than capable of doing that line of work. I originally, one of the sports I looked into with Dodge was something like Mondio or IPO. He doesn't have the right temperament to be doing the bite work stuff with him. Also, dog training confession, I'm really struggling with heel work. I'm finding it a bit boring. So, sorry, obedience people, sorry. So, Hoopers, and now I'm focusing on freestyle, because I think that'll be something we'll both enjoy together. But German Shepherds are a pastoral group, which means that working away from you is something that they're good at. It's one of the reasons why collies are good at Hoopers, because they can work away from you at a distance. But actually, all the pastoral group are very good at this. So Hoopers as an outlet for dogs that maybe are from, I'm going to say the droving world, because if it's not a border collie, they would have been more likely to be a drover than a herder. But if you have a herder or a drover, working away from you is something that comes very natural to them. So distance handling those dogs and giving them a game like Hoopers can be a really, really good outlet for them. I know one of the talks was about harnessing your dog's kind of natural abilities that may be a problem and actually harnessing those to be the solution. So if your dog wants to kind of run and work away from you and herd stuff, Hoopers is quite a nice alternative, which I know might sound mad, but it works. For the toy breeds, I love that they don't have to jump anything. It's low impact on their little legs, but also you watch them building that confidence. And I know I've said the word confidence about 30,000 times. If you watch this on replay, you should have made that a drinking game. Every time she says the word confidence, you have to do a shot because you'd all be hammered by now. But it really does. It is about the dog's gaining confidence. The spaniels, see lots of spaniels doing it, lots of poodles. Dogs that you think, oh yeah, they'll be good at agility. They're going to love Hoopers. But dogs that may not be suited to agility can also come and play. Got quite a lot of sight hounds coming. A couple of summers ago, had a lovely Galgo boy that was coming training, who was wonderful. Got quite a few gun dogs that come. Train with a Golden, a Vizsla, quite a few Spangles, Welsh, English, Cocker. Got all the Spangles covered. Your Oodle mixes, your pedigree poodles, your crossbreeds. I've had Bassets doing it. One of the instructors has Basset hounds. Again, the kind of people go, oh, no, you can't do sports with Basset. You can do Hoopers. You can do Hoopers with any single breed. And that's why I love the inclusiveness of it, because when we talk about dog sports, they're not for everyone. Not everyone wants to do dog sports. Sorry, I'm getting comfy. Oh God, I moved. That meant he moved. No, he's laid back down. Okay, we're safe. But with dog sports, there is a lot of training needed, whether you're doing disc stuff like Ruby does, or whether you're doing obedience. There's always an element of training required. But with Hoopers, some of the stuff that needs to be trained, it might not always be obvious that those things are needed. Dodge is exiting the building, which means he's probably going to go and have a punch up with Munch in a minute. So if you hear large duffing, that's him and Munch playing. I may need to stop that. We'll see if it happens. So with dogs that are looking for the outlet and just people that want to have fun with their dogs, like Hoopers is super inclusive for everyone. If you're a pet dog trainer and you're thinking, oh, could this be something that we could add for the summer classes? Is this another activity we could add? Yes, it is. And it's something that I found clients get into. 2019, I actually made the decision to, and in hindsight with the way the world went, it possibly wasn't the best timing, but September 2019, I stopped teaching regular classes. I stopped teaching life skills, puppy, all of that stuff, and just focus my time purely on Hoopers, because that's how much I was enjoying teaching and loving it. And I actually found that teaching other stuff just really wasn't floating my boat anymore. Even my love for trick stuff kind of dwindled a bit. But once I was getting into the Hoopers, I realised that stuff that we were teaching in the life skills class and stuff came into Hoopers. So a start line weight, you need a good solid stay to get the dogs able to have that handler walk away from them and then release them. And it's super exciting. They're like, oh my God, this is the best one ever. And they have to be still for a few seconds before that release happens. Doing a lot of shaping with the dogs for them to learn the equipment. I'm very much, I try not to lure when we're teaching Hoopers. I try and use shaping as much as possible, because I like the dogs to have a thorough understanding of what they're learning and what the game is, rather than kind of being shown what the game is. So with the instructors, I really encourage the rule of 5, which means you can lure for 5 treats and then you need to go to shaping. If you need to use targets to help the dogs out, that's cool. Technically luring, but that's a whole nother debate that I'm not opening that can of worms today. But when people start seeing the dogs having fun and the dogs start understanding the game and enjoying themselves, people are coming back for more and more and more. I know a lot of my trainers do hoopers at the end of a training session. So they'll do some life skills stuff, they'll do some obedience stuff, and then they finish the session off with hoopers. And people in their class are like, oh my God, come on, the hoopers bit's coming. Used to have it, the training class I used to go to, we used to do agility at the end. And I used to look forward to the agility section because it was the dogs having fun and running around and all that stuff. But making sure that everyone can be included and in kind of trying to make sure that you can include everyone. If you're running mixed level classes where you might have younger dogs or rescue dogs and more advanced classes, you can easily adapt exercises in hoopers. You can raise and lower that criteria so simply. In a day of teaching hoopers, in the morning I will set up a layout, and that layout will remain pretty much the same for all the dogs during that day. So there could be 10 one-to-ones in a day, and that layout will stay the same for all the dogs. I just raise and lower the criteria, change the handling areas, all of that stuff for the clients. So from a training point of view, being able to just set equipment out without having to faff around, moving stuff, packing stuff up, putting stuff away in between every client also is super appealing. And it's one of the other reasons that from a trainer's point of view, being a bit lazy makes your life easier. Yeah, let me check if there's any more comments. Yes, Ruby, heel work is just another trick, and it is all a trick. All dog training is just a trick, but yeah, I'm finding formal heel work really hard, don't judge me. Minx looks so happy when she is running a course. Yeah, Minx absolutely loves running courses. She has so much fun. And one of the trainers, one of the chewies that comes along, she comes to one-to-ones with me. One of her dogs is a rescue. Super nervous. First time we got the tunnel out, he refused. Would not go through that tunnel. No, terrifying, scary. Oh my God. Within half an hour, we got him going through the tunnel, and we weren't throwing food in the tunnel. We weren't luring him. What we actually did, we got our other dog out as well, who loves a tunnel. And every time the nervous dog went near the tunnel, he got reinforced. And the other dog was just running through the tunnel and having a party thrown for him. And eventually the nervous one went, oh, it's not a portal to another dimension. Okay, we can just, and you know, within a session, he was running through that tunnel. I've seen dogs that have come in one session, they haven't wanted to do a tunnel. We haven't pushed it. The next week they've come in, they're running through a tunnel like they've been doing it forever. So it's all about adapting to the dog in front of you, training the dog in front of you, which I know is something that a lot of trainers are really passionate about, because there is no ABC, because there's too many variables when it comes to dogs. Dogs are all their own different personalities, and as much as we talk about breeds and breed traits, they are still their own little person inside. So again, I love that with hoopers you can adapt it as much or as little as you need to work with that team. I personally have trained handlers that have been under 10 and over 70. So this is the other thing I love with it. It's not an ageist sport. You can easily have kids doing it. I've got lots of instructors that the kids come along with the parents to watch and actually end up joining in. My friend came to a class one day with me. She had her son with her, and he really wanted to go, so I gave him Tiny Dog, and he ran Tiny Dog around the course, bless her. Can literally give her to anyone now to run around a hoops course, because she just understands the game and loves it. But I think it's nice to be able to offer people something that they don't need to worry about, but also there are things you can give them for homework that they can easily practice at home without putting the impact on the dogs. The other thing I will just mention I am super strict on is warm up and cool down. And I know those of you that do sports will be very aware of warming up and cooling down, but this is where my previous trick training experience has really come in, because a lot of tricks are just stretches. So getting the dogs to do the tricks with the owners, we know builds the bond, builds understanding, builds confidence, but also it just adds another layer to that teamwork element. So when people are waiting their turn, they can be going through their warm-up routine if it's a group class situation. At the end of the class, you can do a group cool down so that everyone's kind of joining in and doing it together and having fun with it. And in the Carrie-Anne Hoopers World Facebook group, there is a whole guide. So Facebook's just changed their name. They were called units, they're now called guides. There is a whole guide on warm-up and cool-down exercises that you guys can have a look at as well. So are there any questions? Let me see. Are there any questions? Have I waffled on for long enough? Can't see any questions. Guys, if you have any, please ask. How are we doing for time? 40 minutes. That's pretty cool. I've done all right. It's really weird not having videos and slides and stuff to show you, because normally I would have loads of stuff to show. The other thing I will just mention, which is something that's really exciting me at the moment, is baseless hoops. So those of you that are into hoopers and have seen hoopers, the hoop design is an arch with a base pole that kind of holds everything together. A new design came in possibly last year. Are you going to demo your cues for dodge? No, Beverly, I'm not going to demo my cues for dodge, because nobody's ears need the pitch I get on a Sunday morning. That doesn't need to be a thing. I will explain back cues in a minute. Don't getting distracted makes change. Those of you that actually know me, I think I've done pretty well to stay on point as much as I have. So bottomless hoops are starting to be looked at a bit more as well, which I am excited about. I've been training on bottomless hoops for a couple of months now, and I'm in love with them. And again, I was talking to Sarah over at UK Hoopers about them, and she's going to be having a look at them as well. So as a sport, because it's brand new, it's only, as I say, 4 years old in this country, it is still developing and progressing, and the sport that started 4 years ago is probably slightly different to the sport we're kind of doing now. So it's still evolving and progressing, and it's not kind of set in its ways, which is another thing that really appeals. So the reason Beverly is asking about my cues for dodge is because some of my cues are physical, but I use a lot of verbal cues for him, and some of them probably make no sense, but most of my cues end up being very, very high pitched. And one of them is a trill noise that someone said it sounded like they were watching a David Attenborough program, and they thought there were birds, I don't know, screaming or something, because I do get super, super squeaky with my cues. Vicky asked what surfaces trained on. So the kind of foundations and the basics, as long as the surface is level and the dogs aren't going too fast, you can pretty much train on most surfaces. One surface I'm not a fan of is the horse arena shredded tire, just because it's designed for horses, and horses have really big hooves, and dogs have paws that are smaller. They have toes, which horses only technically have two, all debatable, but one kind of main toe at the bottom. And then as they hit the surface, it doesn't really affect them, and the idea is that it cushions. The problem with shredded tire with dogs is that it actually becomes a very uneven surface, and I haven't seen it so much with the large breed dogs, but certainly for Tiny Dog, she hates walking on that surface. It's like when you go to the beach and you're walking on pebbles, it's uncomfortable. So I don't like tire as a surface, and also shingle, gravel, not a massive fan of that. I think some dogs find it uncomfortable anyway. It's not a surface I'd want to be training on. Ideal surface, grass that is as flat as possible. You don't want big divots in it, because obviously you don't want dogs putting their leg down a hole and injuring themselves. Sand arenas. So in the video I posted up in the group that you can see if you want to see what hoopers looks like in the real world, we train on it's a mix of sand and kind of wool fibre type. Doing this, like, you understand what that means, seriously. but it's more of a sand arena, which I like. Now, one thing, if you do train on stand, to be aware of, large dogs, especially on barrel turns and stuff, or if you're practicing a certain pattern, they do end up creating a rut, which if you then have mixed dogs in the class, and you have ruts being developed, if all the dogs are about the same size and stride pattern, it's not a problem. If I am running Dodge and Tiny Dog, I need to make sure I've got rid of his great big divots, pardon me, before she comes out, because she does get stuck in the tram lines. Anyone that drives on a motorway and has ever got caught in the, has ever done rut steering and got caught in the lorry ruts, which used to happen quite a lot. They've improved service now, but back in the day, you used to get stuck in lorry ruts on the motorway. That's basically how my Chihuahua feels. She ends up in a trench. And when you think, if that trench has ended up 2 inches deep, these little dogs, these little Dachshunds and Chihuahuas and other such teeny tiny things, 2 inches could be their leg length, okay? And they're suddenly like up to their belly in sand. So be mindful of sand. Make sure it's raked and flat. Grass is my favourite surface, but you need to make sure when you're training in the wet seasons that it doesn't become slippery and muddy, because you don't want dogs injuring themselves by slipping on mud and anything like that. Health and safety risk assessment should be paramount at all times. It's the first time I've said that in this talk, makes change. Anyone that's done my instructor course knows that health and safety risk assessment is something that I drum in so much, because as much as we want people to have fun and it's an inclusive sport, it still needs to be safe, and we need to be making sure that the dogs are safe and having fun without risk of injury. So Nikki says about the bottomless hoops not affecting the dog's stride as they approach them. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I love it. I also saw a video doing the rounds of a little dog that had wheels on the back. Obviously some sort of back end problem, so he was in a little harnessy wheelchair thing. He was doing hoopers, but he was doing the hoopers with the base bar. So, I mean, he was kind of, his little thing was bouncing. I'm sure his trolley bounces over stuff all the time, but I was like, if he was on the baseless hoops, it would have just have been less pressure on that dog. Question from Hannah. Is hoopers suitable for a dog with hip dysplasia? So, might sound like a bit of a cop-out, but my first response to that is going to be check with your vet, okay? I am not a vet. I'm not a physio. So first port of call is check with your vet. Maybe have some videos explain to the vet what hoops is about. Doing the barrel turns and stuff I can only see as a helpful thing, because it's working on strengthening, building the muscles without the dog doing tight turns. I know a lot of trainers use poles and stuff to do send arounds with. Barrels are a lot less impact on the dog's body, because the dog is always going to be doing a gentle curve rather than a tight turn. So I would say it's going to be more suitable for dogs that have hip dysplasia, but check with your vet first. I'm not going to go, oh yeah, dogs with hip dysplasia, come and do it. Dogs with elbow dysplasia, come and do it. Every dog is an individual. So if they do have a physical impairment, check for your dog. On the flip side of that though, we do have tripods doing it. I've taught a few three-legged dogs and they have absolutely loved it. And watching them learn to balance going around the courses as they're picking up speed is amazing and absolutely phenomenal. I used to train a visualer called Nula, and I know Nula's mum won't mind me saying, she was an absolute joker, that dog. She was hilarious. Typical visualer. But once she understood the game and that confidence was built, take another shot if you're drinking, she just blossomed, and it gave her so much confidence. It was absolutely brilliant and amazing, and I loved it. So, yeah, I don't want to sound like it's a cop-out, Hannah, but for me, if the dog has mild hip dysplasia and you want them to be doing a kind of more controlled exercise, because you can look at a course and say, yes, that's suitable, or no, it's not. Or it may be that you just need to do some adaptations within the course to make it more suitable for your dog. If it's a case of your dog finds going around a barrel and back the way they just came quite difficult, then you just adapt the course so that maybe they went round 2 barrels to make that turn even wider for the dog to make it a bit more suitable. But there are certainly elements of hoopers that I don't see why it would be a problem for a dog with hip dysplasia, but as always, guys, do check with your vet or your physio to make sure that it is going to be suitable. But that would go for any sport anyway. Any other questions, guys? How am I doing now? It's 10:02. Time is nearly up. So are there any other questions? You want to come in? Come on then. Because everyone, you have been very good. You've been very good. Should we tell people where they can see more of you? Because you are a superstar, yeah. So those, wow. He's got a thing, I've got this new moisturiser, and he's got a thing that when I've put moisturiser on, he then has to remove it from my face, which is super helpful. Glad I spent loads of money on an expensive moisturiser that my dog wants to remove from my face. If you do want to kind of follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Canine Hoopers World is on all of the social medias, although I have no idea about Twitter. We do also have a podcast, the Canine Hoopers World podcast. You'd think I'd be able to say that quickly by now. Like, it's been 2 years. Still a mouthful. So our podcast, new episodes come out on a Wednesday. Season 1 had 50 episodes. You can catch up on that. Season 1 started in 2019, and then I've just started season 2 now. The format of season 2 is a little bit different. I'm interviewing other trainers and we're talking about dog stuff. Some of the episodes are possibly going to be a bit controversial, but whatever, it's my podcast. Say what I want, talk about what I want. Yeah, so you can find that on all the podcast places where you would normally find podcasts, Apple, Google. Just Google Canine Hoopers World podcast, it'll come up. Moisturiser equals high value. Apparently so, although for me it's high value as in it cost me a lot of blooming money. According to him, it's saying he can just slurp off my face, which is beautiful. Vicky, the online courses helped me refresh after so long of not being able to meet up and play. Thank you. So that is a beautiful segue, and thank you. And I didn't pay Vicky to write that, but Canine Hoopers World offers online training. We have the level 1 instructors course that's been going online since 2019. So I was lucky that I already had some online stuff before the world stopped and everyone had to go online. But the level 1 online course is there to teach instructors the basics, how to teach things safely, confidently, and to introduce everyone to hoopers. The instructors, once they've done the course, then become part of, come on Dodge, come up, because everyone actually wants to see you. There we go. Because everyone thinks you're very handsome, because you are. You can find him on Instagram at Dodge Shepherd. There we go. But yeah, our instructor courses are online. We've got a wicked Facebook instructor course. I know what he wants to do. I bet there's a fox in the garden. He wants to go and tell the fox to go away because that's his thing at the moment. We have a handling course that's online, which is the core handling course, which explains how you do all the distance handling and how you build the dogs up so that you can stand 30 metres away from a barrel and give them a cue and they'll run and take the barrel. Yeah, it's a bit like a send away challenge, but you have a massive barrel, so it's not a tight turn, which is cool. I was hoping Tiny Dog was going to come in so she could say hi. Minx. This could cause complete carnage and I could end up with all the dogs in the room, which is going to be a nightmare. But Minx, where's my Tiny Dog? You're not a Tiny Dog. You are not a Tiny Dog. Where is my Tiny Dog? Oh, Munch is going to come in. I don't think you'll be able to see much though. Can you let her in, please? Thanks. Boobies. There's the boobies. There's, oh my God. Right. The dog I actually wanted isn't coming in. Munch, come here. Oh. Okay. Apparently Dodge is now sitting in the chair. Oh my God, it's all going wrong. Off. Right, Munch. Munchkin. Yeah, Bobby's going to sit in the chair. This is Munchkin, guys. This is my Staffy rescue. She's my girlie. She's the one that doesn't actually do hoopers. Minx! No, Tiny Dog is obviously asleep and not coming to play. I'll sit over here, shall I? No, you're in the throne. Oh, you're a brat. You are. You're a brat. So, yeah, guys, this is some of the crew. Someone's getting lovely, so I should. Oh, he is the biggest brat ever. Although, to be fair, she's a bit of a spoilt one. With the face today and the moisturiser. Oh my goodness, I love this girlie. She is the best ever. She is wicked. Right, apparently Tiny Dog does not want to come on the camera, which is a bit rubbish. Minx! Dodge, stop guarding the stairs. Dodge. Oh, the reason Minx isn't coming up is because he stood at the top of the stairs, so she can't get past him. Dodge. Move over there, please. Up it up. Up it up. There you go. Right, I'm going to have to, can I? There you go. Always gets asked to be picked up, don't just distract him. She is going to growl at him if he annoys her. But this is the Tiny Dog. So this is the one that started the Hoopers journey. So this is kind of, you can see the diversity of all the children that play Hoopers in my household. These two are now going to start tooth sparring on a Facebook Live, which is wicked. She's going to lick my face and it's all going to go wrong. Amazing. So guys, yeah, this is the Tiny Dog, so you can see how teeny she is. I understand for Chihuahua she's massive, but in my world she is teeny tiny. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Now you've met everyone. Find us on Facebook, listen to the podcast. If you're a trainer and want more information about our online instructors course or hopefully in-person instructors courses, drop me a private message. Send me a friend request, touch base, it's all good. And guys, until the next conference, stay safe, be kind, wash your hands thoroughly, keep your dogs on lead around livestock, don't let them lick toads. Take care guys, bye!